guys, welcome back to my channel. So this video is going to be my play ratings of the Arsenal vs Tottenham game, which ended in 2-2 at the Emirates. So if you do enjoy this video, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and be sure to let me know down below what your play ratings are and whether you agree with mine. And yeah, without further ado, we're just going to get straight into it. For Vicario, I'll give Vicario an 8. I felt like his passing out from the back was very composed and he was very good on the ball, and he dealt with the Arsenal press very well. Made a couple of early saves. I think like one from Jesus, and then Nketiah had that one like in the near post. Obviously he couldn't do anything about Romero's deflected goal, and then, you know, the Saka penalties 50-50. He goes left, he goes left, and then Saka puts down the middle. Played very well, and it's another consistent performance, so definitely an 8. I felt like for his first like sort of North London derby, he stood up well, and I feel like his performances are just like so consistent, and I feel like, you know, slowly improving, and I feel like he's put a lot of the doubters' minds at ease with like how he's been playing. Obviously not being our like first choice and everything, but I feel like he's definitely playing well. Moving on to Pedro Porro, who I thought was brilliant on the day. Also give him an 8 as well. I feel like, again, with like Vicario, there was a lot of doubts about Pedro Porro in this position, and I feel like because there's been a lot of talking about his defending, but I feel like probably each game his defending has got really better. He's really improved that sort of area. Like, I feel like going forward he's like immense, like obviously, but his defending has like really seriously improved, and I feel like he was excellent, and very little got past him. And yeah, I feel like obviously a lot of talk has been about how he defends. And I do think now that he probably is on level with defending with Emerson. I feel like obviously Emerson played that first game and sort of lost his spot, so I think it's brilliant to see, you know, Porro's really taken to that role, and again proving the doubters wrong, so gotta love it. Romero. Okay, I feel like he was very unfortunate with that deflected goal. Obviously he did stick a leg out, so it's like you don't really know what's going to happen in that moment, but I felt like he was very unlucky with that. And then obviously there comes the unfortunate penalty incident, and I feel like apart from those sort of 2 errors, he played okay. He defended well. Other than that, he didn't really do much wrong. It was just those, because they ended up in 2 goals, they stand out more, and he was still decent. So I would probably give him like a 7. I still think, you know, wasn't his greatest game obviously, but I feel like those 2 mistakes have just sort of brought him down a little bit. But, you know, even though Romero not having his greatest of this like performances, it's still a good standard. So it's like unlucky, but you know, it could happen to anyone really. Right, and moving on to Van de Ven, I'll give Van de Ven a 9. That tackle he made on Nketiah as he ran through, and like he made like sort of maintained that, and I feel like for his first London derby, like for his 6th game, only 6th game in the Premier League, he was one of the standout players, hands down, and nothing could get through him. The way he defended from start to finish was immense, and nothing could really get past him. You know, like being able to play on the ball as well, and his passing, you know, out from the back as well, like always, like for majority of the game he was under pressure, and I feel like he dealt with that really well, and sort of the emotions of the game, and he was just like immense. Probably the best defender on the day, I'm gonna say, including the Arsenal defenders. Okay, cool. Udogie. Obviously he picked up the early yellow cards, which you might have thought would hinder his sort of performance, but I feel like he got better. And I feel like throughout, there's definitely shone in the second half. There was that sort of first where he put Nketiah on goal in the first half, but then, you know, Vicario made a good save. I feel like we had to give him credit for the way he sort of handled the game after the card. You know, he stood up to the challenge, showed bravery, and, you know, he was getting up the pitch as well. And I feel like throughout the second half, he definitely showed what Tottenham fans have been seeing for like the past 5 games. And I would give him a 7. Saka barely getting, apart from that penalty, which is not really Udogie's fault, so you just have to say that Saka, you know, he got kicked quite a lot through the second half. Barely saw him. moving on to Sarr, I'll give Sarr a 7. When watching the game, I didn't think he played the best of games, I'm gonna be honest, but I also think that that's probably like just mainly the first half, because I feel like the second half, most like everyone sort of improved a lot in that second half. He also picked up that booking which you thought, oh, you know, a young player on the yellow card in a North London derby, this could end up being a disaster, but I felt like he performed well after that. And I feel like it was another good display from Sarr. You know, I feel like he's consistent with his performances. Even though I feel like the first half maybe sort of like first 20-25 minutes were a bit not brilliant, but I felt like he sort of grew into the game. So with Basima, he picked up a yellow card as well, which you kind of was unnecessary considering the way he sort of went at the referee and was sort of, you know, the way he sort of reacted. Stuff like that sort of unnecessary, and you'd think that because you're gonna get yellow cards for that this season, you'd think maybe he should like try and stop that happening during games. You know, obviously the emotion of the game, things happen, and you know, but if you take that part of the game, he showed some nice touches, and he definitely dominated in that second half when we needed him to. I feel like maybe the effect of Rice going off and like having Jorginho, Odegaard and Havertz in there sort of made him eat, because though let's be honest, none of those would dominate that midfield. So I feel like maybe that reason why, but I feel like, you know, we're never gonna really know. But I feel like Basuma's gotten a lot of stick from Arsenal fans. I'm just like, watch this performance and then you'll see why we're so like bigging him up sort of thing. But I would give him an 8. I'll give Maddison an 8. Obviously in that first half he was dispossessed his own box by Jesus, but I feel like after that he just completely changed, you know, sort of learned from that mistake really quickly and was just able to put that behind him, realise what he did, and just, you know, obviously we saw the comments after, they're saying that like Ange was just like, you know what, just keep playing how you're playing, and those sort of things will happen. Like obviously those things can happen, but just keep doing what you're doing, and I feel like that's really good to hear actually. Obviously he set up Son for the first goal, the assist, the way he turned Saka, the way he just sort of turned him was hilarious to watch. And yes, Son was able to finish that one. Then he pressed Jorginho, managed to win the ball off him and set up Son second. And obviously he went down with a sort of injury, he jolted his knee, and you're thinking, oh, is he going to be okay? Is he going to be able to carry on? So he carried on for a little bit and then he was replaced by Hojbjerg. Obviously we're going to have to wait and see if there's damage to his knee or whatnot, and that's going to be a horrible wait because he's having scans, and hopefully he hasn't, because I don't know, because I feel like Lo Celso's still out, so unless we lose that, we're going to lose that sort of creativity, especially with Lo Celso also out. Like I don't know when Lo Celso's meant to be back, so it's like hopefully we can get that scan quickly and find out at the end, and hopefully he'll be okay to carry on, because also we've got Liverpool on Saturday, so it's like we definitely need him against Liverpool. I don't know who would be that, unless Kulu goes into the middle, that could be an option, but yeah, I don't know, we'll have to see and find out. But yeah, I think I said 8. Moving on to Kulu, I'd give Kulu a 7. I feel like he was very hard working, and he played very well, even though he didn't get on a score sheet or anything like that. But I feel like he was a constant threat. Nice touches in there, the passing, and yeah, it was just like a more like Kulu performance without sort of the end product. But it would be interesting to see. We just need Kulu to keep these performances up, keeping that consistent, and yeah, sort of use the last 2 games as sort of stepping stone in order to get that form he had when he first joined. But yeah, can't never complain about Kulu. Moving on to Johnson. Obviously it was his debut. Number 7. He had an early shot deflected at the crossbar, and he's also had a shot which Raya made a good save. I feel like he worked well. He's a constant threat going up and down that right hand. Was it? Yeah. Right hand side, and had a couple of efforts blocked in before we got our first goal. And yeah, I feel like before, and he also came off because he was holding his leg. And hopefully that's not too bad. We're gonna have to wait and see on that one as well. But I feel like for he could have done a bit better for Arsenal's opening goal, but other than that, there wasn't too many mistakes in his game, and I felt like he put himself out there, and he really sort of shone in like his first sort of like full-on like debut. So it was good to see, and I want to see more Johnson, but hopefully like the injury is not too bad, because we're definitely going to need him if you know, we don't want his injuries to mount up after losing Perisic. So it's like, I also feel like with Perisic as well, just quickly before I move on to Son, I felt like if Perisic was able to come on his late, if those like the last sort of corners we had, we might have been able to get a win. I just think with his sort of crossing ability, that could have been that potential, but we'll never know. Okay, moving on to the last player to start in 11, Son. Okay, I guess on 8. I feel like you know, it was a very captain performance for Son, and he sort of very much led from the front, pressing, and let's be honest, those 2 goals he had were just a clinical finisher, like we know of Sonny. And yeah, I just felt like it's a really captain performance, and he really took the game to Arsenal, and he really shone for us. And you know, other than those 2 goals, he had a ball in the net but was offside. He set up Johnson for that big chance 5 minutes from the break, and it was his 150 goal for Spurs, which is crazy. This crazy amount of like goals, and like from the what is it called? And I feel like his finishing is just like out of this world, and I feel like he's really taken on this like centre forward role, and it's good to see. I feel like it's just, you know, what can you say about Sonny other than what we're saying? And I feel like he's getting his form back, and like he's like last season never happened. So I was happy with Sonny. Moving on to the subs. Moving on to Solomon, who came on, I'd probably give him a 5, just because I felt like he didn't really affect the game too much. I feel like he definitely put himself about, and he worked hard, but there wasn't just wasn't that sort of end product, and sort of, you know, didn't really have too much to affect us going forward. But I feel like what he did, you know, he was putting that effort in, so a 5. Phobia came on for Madison. I felt like he definitely put himself about a bit, and he definitely can sort of controlled that midfield towards the end to help us control the game. And I definitely felt like his experience was needed throughout that point in the game. And you know, there's a few nice touches in there, a few nice passing, nothing too, you know, amazing to like bring forward, but I'd probably give him a 6. Charlison, I feel like there was a few chances in there for him that was unlucky not to go in, or sort of deflected, and one of them was obviously in the 99th minute, like quite literally last minute of the game, which was deflected. Unfortunately, I felt imagine if that actually went in. That would have been crazy, because Arsenal fans would be going mad, because they would have said Richarlison scoring the winner. Like, it obviously didn't happen, but I'm just saying, like, just imagine if that actually did. I feel like he got involved, and you know, the effort, 100% effort was in there, and he definitely caused problems as well. I felt like if we could have just got that sort of last pass right, or shot wasn't deflected, then maybe potentially that winner could have come. But yeah, I'm at a 6. Moving on to Ange, I would give Ange an 8. I felt like for like his first sort of like North London derby, the lineup was spot on, the tactics were spot on, and he definitely sort of outclassed Arteta a bit. I feel like the game was close and it was like even, like the result was fair, but I felt like the football was playing was better than what Arsenal were playing, and sort of the subs decisions were what Ange was making were definitely right at the right time. I do think it's a sort of like a little bit of drop off when Son and Maddison came off. I sort of understand the Maddison coming off because I see that injury. Who knows? I don't know whether that was just letting him play a little bit more and then see how it goes. But obviously Son coming off, I feel like Son was probably a bit more like threatening than Richarlison would have been, like Richarlison. But other than that, you have to give credit to Ange. And obviously we had this like test of Arsenal, you know, being one of the top sides in the league, and we went to toe with them, so you have to give Ange credit for that. And Ange Ball is real. Like, Spurs fans know it, and now I feel like rival fans, other fans are beginning to see that it's not just like a fluke, and it's not just sort of, oh, it's just because you're playing these teams. Like, we actually, obviously Liverpool coming up is going to be another test to see whether we can go beyond that and hopefully get a win. But I feel like so far so good. Obviously not getting too carried away. I'm just happy to see good football, and with the results that we've been getting, still unbeaten, can't really complain. So but yeah, those are my play ratings. Be sure to let me know down below if you agree, and if not, let me know what your play ratings are. Like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Bye guys.